decide to be a content team rather than a strictly competitive team only? Lasagna Walker, that is such an excellent question. I've answered it a million times, but I think I can answer it again. And maybe my perspective today is different than what it was 2 years ago when I talked about this, or last year when I talked about this, or 13 years ago when I talked about this. Esports is not where it's going to be in 20 years, right? And what happened in 2015, 2016 with the amount of VC companies that started coming in, trying to invest in the future of esports or trying to accelerate its growth to get to where it's going to inevitably end up, understanding that we were still all in a building phase. Still to this day, we're still in a building phase. So the content allows for continuous opportunity for you guys to think about OpTic, continuous opportunity for you guys to continue to be entertained by OpTic. So if we remain in front of you, even when we are not competing, if we have the Scumper Jumpers on a podcast or the FormaL on a trivia video sitting next to Rush, or you know what I'm saying, nowadays we have Mercules and Shotzi trying Mexi Candy, which is coming in the next couple of weeks. That's the opportunity. The opportunity is to not the opportunity, but the reason that we chose to do that. It wasn't a matter of choosing between one or the other. It was more of a decision to focus on both equally and treat them as important as the other. So it was never really a, hey, you know what? Fuck competition, let's do content. And it was never a fuck content, let's do competition. It was more of like, we love both of these things. We love competing, but we don't know how to pay these players. And over here we have an opportunity to entertain people while at the same time getting paid by the ads that you may be seeing right now, which is a IKEA 300 in Stockholm fucking named kitchenware. If you guys are seeing in the back right here, right? So we us being in front of you guys and getting views because we were the only thing live at the time was the opportunity for us to make money, to pay the players to continue to fucking sort of live out this dream. And that's why. It wasn't picking one or the other. It was a quick understanding of the position that we were in as a scene, not as OpTic, but as an esport as a whole. And not just Call of Duty, as an esport, as the entirety of the esports ecosystem. Understanding that this is new, which is the easiest thing to determine and understand. This is new, right? This is new. In those times, there weren't contracts. Like I never, ever had a contract until we started doing Counter-Strike. When we did Counter-Strike, that's the first time that we pulled out a contract and put it in front of a player. Up until that point, handshake agreements between Papa and the boys, and my sole job and only job was to make sure that everybody got what they were supposed to fucking get, and anything that was extra, we would spread across evenly. Maybe not evenly. Obviously, we do have expenses, but you know what I'm saying. But the understanding of where we're at was the number one cheat code. The understanding that we were building gave us the freedom to say, hey, winning isn't everything right now. But if we continue to think that winning is everything while simultaneously building this sort of entertainment culture or machine or sharing our lives, that's what it was. Sorry, I got hit with the ads. Oh, my bad, man. Maybe sub, dude. I'm kidding. Don't sub because I don't know how often I'm going to go live. FormaL is top 75 sub channels of all time on Twitch right now. FormaL is top 70. Yeah, of course, dude. Look, there are people like Kenny's a perfect example of this who just took sort of like a break, didn't go play for, I'm gonna say Cloud9. I don't know anything. I haven't spoken to Kenny like that. I haven't heard any rumors on who offered him what. But I'm almost certain that Cloud9 was obviously looking to get a veteran in there. But he decided instead to take the rest of the year off and focus on content. The danger there, and you might disagree with you. Now let's have this conversation. You may disagree with the most successful GM in the history of Call of Duty, yours truly. Not bragging, not boasting. I'm speaking facts here. I speak in absolutes. Okay, you may disagree with this, but the problem with Kenny right now is he hasn't found the right team for him to spread his wings the way that he can. Okay, his abilities don't fucking disappear. Look at what FormaL did. Towards the end of his Call of Duty career, he wasn't the same player that he was in his peak. And it wasn't because he didn't have the ability. He just didn't have the ability to tap into that ability because he was just so bored of not only the game, but the system that we lived in. And then obviously the CDL came in and fucking fucked it all up. So obviously, like he had it, but his abilities remained. His ability to tap into that want to be good was available to him in a brand new game, a fresh thing, something not as boring as what Call of Duty was to him towards it. I think Kenny's in the in the same spot right now. I'm not comparing them as players under any circumstance, but Kenny's Kenny, two-time world champion, multi-champion. That skill doesn't fucking just go away. He just can't tap into the ability to tap into that thing that made him him. The problem that I foresee here is that he's also really good at content. He's a well-spoken individual. He's very knowledgeable and is able to articulate his thoughts perfectly for you and me, laymen of the game, to sort of understand the intricacies of plays. The same way as when you hear FormaL, the same way as when you hear Scump, Zinni, Bose. But a layman like me who loves Call of Duty and plays Call of Duty on almost on a daily basis, I know there's a limited knowledge as to what happens in game. Don't fucking tell me to read a mini map or spawns. I can't tell you. If you were to put $1 million in front of me for me to guess where the spawns are on any particular hardpoint map from now going all the way back to fucking Modern Warfare 3, I can't tell you no fucking spawns. Okay, I don't have that knowledge. I can't tell you why someone's spawning over here when the hill is white. I don't know any of that. I just repeat what I hear and try to make levity and fun of it. But what's happening with Kenny is actually kind of dangerous because he has the skill to continue to be who he's been. And yeah, he's fallen off a little bit, but that's not skill. That's just something that he can't tap into. But he's also really good at content, and that might, steer him completely in that direction, which obviously he's going to be well, and he's going to do well for himself in both because he's so good at both. I don't know, man. Do I think he did the right choice? Yeah, if he's continuing to play and practice on a nightly basis. But I got to tell you, the cushy life that you get to, the relaxed, the chillax life that you get to lead as a content creator and not a pro player where you have to show up to practice every single day, that's also very enticing for a player who has done it all, accomplished all, and doesn't need to continue to prove himself. So, dangerous scenario right here. Passion burnout. I don't even think it's that, man. What's FormaL up to now? He has his own, he's streaming. He's probably live right now, not yet. But he's doing good. His stream is fucking blowing up, obviously. His knowledge of the game is very insightful, and he offers a perspective that no one else can. I saw a fucking post about comparing FormaL to Scrap and to you can't compare FormaL to, come on. This fucking I don't even, we should move on. FormaL is like the prime example. Can he still compete in anything he applies himself to? Yes, so long as he can tap into that. But he's also really good at content. So we're sort of witnessing what Nadeshot went through again. We're sort of witnessing what Scump went through again with these two guys. And the FormaL one is obviously going to be the one that I'm closest to. So I'm obviously very, very interested. Not that I want him to pick either or. Obviously, whatever he chooses, I'll back. But he could do both. So. I don't know. It's a lot. It makes it a lot easier for you to sort of be content with thyself and saying, you know what, he's gonna be fine no matter what he does. I often say that I don't regret things or I don't regret anything in my past, and I don't. I truly don't. But there are opportunities that I think I missed, and that I think would have elevated OpTic a little bit quicker. And I can't say that I regret because I love where we're at right now. I love the history, as painful as it has been, and as rigorous as the fights that I'm currently actively in. Thorns on the side, annoying as fuck, because you believe that things should be a certain way, and when thousands of people believe it should be a certain way, it should be more than enough. But there was this one opportunity that I had, and this was in 2010. In 2010, Cloud9 was not owned by Jack Etienne. It was sort of co-owned by the team and the players. And there was this guy named Kai, not obviously Kai, but there was a League of Legends player named Kai. I don't remember. Anyway, this was 2010. So now we're what? Fucking 16 years since that. I actually spoke to him, and I wish I still have the Skype logs, because we had an extensive conversation about how their Cloud9, and I talked to him at an MLG event. I think it was the first MLG event we went to, but or second or third. But I remember having a conversation with him about OpTic having them as the League of Legends team. And he gave me, like, again, guys, like, you got to understand, I'm 29, 30. I'm like 30. I'm under 31 years old, have no business expertise. I had been running the corporate rat race up until this point. And I want you to pay attention to the age that I was when I started working on OpTic full time, which was 29 years old with a full-time job, a baby on the way. And luckily I got into a situation where my manager and I couldn't get along, so we had to part ways and whatever. But anyway, back then I had a conversation with him. He gave me like sponsors that were interested in them. And because I did not know how I was going to pay for their housing or their salaries, even though he was sort of pointing me in the right direction for sponsors, I sort of let that opportunity, go, and I just focused on what I did. And look, we were very lucky. I wouldn't change anything that has happened in the past for or now. I mean, I would try to recover a couple of friends that I lost along the way. But aside from that, like I don't really regret much. But that one was an opportunity where I think it's like, man, Cloud9 became Cloud9 because of that one League of Legends team, and look how big they were, look what they were able to do. So if you're at their valuation to our value, oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? Will Zinni ever get that OpTic chain for getting Merc? Zinni will get his chain when the time is right for him to get his chain, okay? Saved our ass, abso-fucking-lutely. And also, no surprise to anyone, even though Zinni had discovered this kid. The kid was on my radar the second day he hit that stage in fucking Miami, and I wasn't there because I just fucked up my foot. I was supposed to go fishing with Scott Martin for the first time in 5 years, and then I broke my foot. But then it forced me to actually watch the whole thing. I usually don't watch if I'm at home, I rarely watch like regular matches. I only watch when we're playing or when like a really good match is going on. And we're about to get into some really good matches that are happening. And don't get me started about my record versus everybody else's record on the pick'ems, okay? It's just unfair to them. They can only see the game from a player's perspective, okay? Because that's all they think. Players think that they know what is best for them. Someday, we proved that that's not the case. Shotzi didn't want to make a change. I had to step in. I had to tell Zinni, hit the kid up. And he's like, oh, we have to, right? And that's why I looked. The rest is history. But it's not Scump's fault or Embos' fault or Riley's fault. I mean, Riley doesn't even play. But I've been a GM since I started this thing because I wasn't good enough with these hands, okay? So my record is better than everybody else's in the pick'ems. I just know how to pick the winning team.